All right, what's good? What's good? What's good? Let me go over here. Actually, let me bring this a little closer. What's good, man? J.A. Live Forever. What's good, man? Let me make sure I go real quick. Good morning to everybody. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if the sound is good. Because sometimes, I've been having technical difficulties lately. Let me know if you guys can hear me, man. Queen 71 said, loving this time slot. I can actually catch the show live on my way home from work. Man, you are working, Queen. You are working, Queen. If you're on your way home from work, you must work the night. You must work nights. What's going on, Adrian Vint? Tone for. Let me go, man. Actually, let me go here real quick. Forgive me. Make sure that you guys can see me on the channel. There you go. Okay, we say we got 63 people in the building. It doesn't say anything on StreamYard. So, dude, it's just, oh, cool. You guys can hear me and everything. Okay, there you go. All right, a dislike. Jay says a dislike, and the man didn't even speak yet. The hate is real. Oh, yeah, the hate is very, very real. And two, there's a guy in the chat that started the channel. This is not unusual at all, dog. But I wish you guys would. Nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna talk boxing today, man. So I sat down and listened to Teddy Atlas and Mike and Mark. Is it Mike or Mark Rideout? I think it's Mike Rideout. Man, let me tell you, man, it's real hard on black fighters with guys with mentalities like that because, well, first of all, I don't even believe that that's actually their mentality because they keep reading their sponsors' commercials, like, in the middle of the podcast. So I know that they're there to make money. But the hypocrisy that I saw on their show, like, it's just ridiculous, dude. These guys know, like, at the end of the show. At the end of the show, I'll start with the end of the show where they talked about the Deontay Wilder part of it. Where they were like, Teddy Atlas said, well, yeah, I think that the fight was supposed to happen before the end of the year. And, it's the end of the year. So, and then Mike Rideout says like, yeah, I guess, well, I guess it's expired. Man, get out of here. You guys have detailed hour-long conversations about every other topic. You can wax and wane and go back and forth and show all kind of detail when it got something to do other than Deontay Wilder being treated fairly, man. Like, dude, they said that Tyson Fury is a bigger draw than Canelo Alvarez. That was their debate. First of all, Mike Rideout started with Anthony Joshua being a bigger star than Canelo Alvarez. Ken Rideout, Mike Rideout, fuck, I don't care. Man, the motherfucker, just ride out. You know what I'm saying? Get on your bike and ride out, homie. Because that is just some BS, dog. Oh, I see I can do that on like this or that, whatever. It's a camera, so I figure, and when I'm too far away, that's when you get all that pixelation because it's too much. It's too much data. But when I do this, it's a little less data being sent. Yeah, exactly, counterintelligence. Counterintelligence Teddy, which means just says dumb shit. Canelo, first of all, listen to this. This shows what it really is, in my opinion. Teddy Atlas said that Canelo Alvarez is big. Oh, said, but I love that camera. That's all. Okay, that's what's up. Look, man. Teddy Atlas says, let me expose some subtle racism, okay? This is my opinion. This is subtle racism, in my opinion. What's his name? Ken Rideout? Ken Rideout says that Anthony Joshua is the biggest star because he has a country behind him. Right? Have you heard that before? That Anthony Joshua has a country behind him? I know you have. I know you've heard that cliche bullshit that he has a country behind him. Anthony Joshua does not have any more of a country behind him than Errol Spence Jr. has behind him. Anthony Joshua does not have more of a country behind him than Floyd Mayweather Jr. has a country behind him. And I can prove it. And I will prove it. That is subtly anti-American and subtly anti-Black American, in my opinion. First of all, Canelo Alvarez has a whole country behind him, right? Because he's from Mexico. Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury have a whole country behind them because they're from the UK. What the fuck does Deontay Wilder have then? He doesn't have a country behind him? Why are you from the same country as Deontay Wilder, but you're saying Deontay Wilder does not have a country behind him, but Tyson Fury has a country behind him? What the fuck is the proof that these guys have a whole country behind them? Canelo Alvarez's highest pay-per-view, beyond when it's not Floyd Mayweather, is 1.1 million. 1.1 million. Is that a whole fucking country? Is that a whole fucking country? If Canelo Alvarez has the whole country of Mexico behind him, why is he fighting? Why is he fighting in Vegas? He is not the Mexican national soccer team. Get the fuck out of my face. He does not have a whole country behind him. If he had a whole country behind him, he would have 30, 40 million pay-per-view buys. If Anthony Joshua had all of the UK behind him, he would have 5, 6, 7, 10, 20, 50, 60 million pay-per-views. They do not have a whole damn country behind them. That is a lie. They have boxing fans behind them that are interested in them that do not pay very much money for fights. That's the truth. They have boxing fans behind them that do not pay a lot of money for fights. That's why Canelo fights here. That's why AJ fights here. That's why, or wants to fight here. That's why Tyson Fury is trying to fight here. Because they do not have a whole country behind them. The Mexican whoever their big soccer teams are not trying to come to the United States to play soccer. Whoever the big Mexican football or soccer stars are not trying to come to the United States to play soccer. They do not have a whole country behind them. That is horse shit. If they have a whole country behind them, then so does Deontay Wilder. Because Deontay Wilder's pay-per-views have been as high as Tyson Fury's in the United States of America, because Deontay Wilder's had more of them than Tyson Fury's had over there. Tyson Fury can't track flies to a fucking garbage can in the UK. He ain't never had a big fight in the UK. Never. His big fights have been in Germany and the United States. Where is this whole country behind Tyson Fury? That is just ridiculous. Deontay Wilder is an American citizen, Teddy. He had over 1 million people watch him every time on Showtime. That's 1 million people that watched him. It's 1 million people that watch AJ. They just paid $25 to do it. But nobody over there watches Tyson Fury. So where's this whole country behind them stuff? And if that's true, why aren't you behind your countrymen? Did you hear Teddy Atlas say, no, Anthony Joshua, don't fight Deontay Wilder? Teddy Atlas and whatever his name is, Ride Out, say, they covered Deontay Wilder's lawsuit. They called it a lawsuit, number one. It's not a fucking lawsuit, you liar. It's not a lawsuit. Okay? You guys can be specific when you want to be. That is not a lawsuit. Deontay Wilder does not have a lawsuit against Tyson Fury, you liars. He has he's in mediation, which Tyson Fury's lying ass agreed to. And you know his lying ass agreed to. And you know he's ducking out of this fight. But why won't you say it? Because of the money. Because of the money. Theobald Monfort. Look, dude, you do not like me. I have a love for fucking fairness, dude. I don't even know Deontay Wilder. I don't know Deontay Wilder. I've never spoken to Deontay Wilder. I just see you mistreating Deontay Wilder on a regular basis. Deontay Wilder is the biggest draw. He is the financial center of boxing. If you cared about American boxing, but you want to sell out for UK boxing so that maybe your buddies can get part of the contract. That's what it is. You guys have some type of financial shit with this fight over there with AJ and Tyson Fury. That's what it is. You've got people that are fucking sponsoring you. You've got people that know that a lot of people watch your show. They're in your ear, and then bullshit. You spread the bullshit that you want to spread, and you will not share the shit that's real. You share some of the shit that's real and a bunch of bullshit you want to push. Because if Teddy Atlas believes that Deontay Wilder would destroy Tyson Fury and that Deontay Wilder would destroy Anthony Joshua, because Anthony Joshua is not the same guy anymore, and he believes that Tyson Fury would destroy him, then why do you want to see Tyson Fury fight Anthony Joshua? Why don't you want to see Tyson Fury fight Deontay Wilder when you know that there was a rematch signed for the contract? And you know it's legitimate. And by the way, it's still December 16th. If the fight was supposed to be happening before the end of the year, Deontay Wilder was okay with any day. It was Bob Arum that wanted a different day. You guys are hoping for this mega fight that you guys can find a way to make some money off of because one group of Europeans control Anthony Joshua and another group of Europeans control Tyson Fury. And you guys do not want that heavyweight championship in the United States because it's patently obvious. Because that's the only reason why you guys would say the things that you say about Deontay Wilder. It's absolutely ridiculous. Ken Rideout said right there on his podcast with Teddy Atlas, by the way, it's Ken Rideout's podcast. Let's say whose podcast it really fucking is. It's the guy that's paying for every fucking thing. And they're using Teddy Atlas's name. That's what it is. So when Mark Rideout is saying this shit, Mark Rideout is saying this shit because some people want that damn fight and they don't have control over Deontay Wilder. Just like they don't have control over the rest of the PBC. Which is why every time a PBC fight happens, they crap on that PBC fight. And it's the same structure. It's the same people doing that crap. Say, how do you make a whole person disappear? I don't know, a pig grinder? What the fuck are you asking me some question like that for? Make a whole person disappear with a pig grinder. Next question. Shit. That wasn't even hard. Look, I'm telling you, that is about being fair. Deontay Wilder has one loss, dog. And you saw the gloves. You know this guy cheated. You know it. If it wasn't the slaps up against the head, Teddy Atlas knows it. Teddy Atlas and these guys know that this guy's probably on HGH. Isn't that what Benny Pazienza said? These guys are quick to talk about Joe Joyce on performance-enhancing drugs and how rampant performance-enhancing drugs is in boxing, but they catch fucking amnesia when it comes to Tyson Fury. You guys are amazing, dog. I see Deontay Wilder being a world champion right now. It's a world champion right now, dude. In my book, the WBC has no credibility. None. Okay? And let me explain. The WBC, besides Deontay Wilder, has taken all of their credibility and dumped it in a trash can with multiple things. The franchise belt, number one. The way that they handled Alejandro Jimenez, number two. Canelo Alvarez getting a shot at that WBC, the WBC, vacant WBC 168-pound championship, number three. Okay? And I could go Bridgerweight, number four. Okay? All kind of crap. Ordering Deontay Wilder as a champion to fight Tyson Fury in a rematch off of a draw, but not doing the same thing for Deontay Wilder, number 6. Okay? Not investigating Deontay Wilder's gloves when they investigated the same situation when Marisa Suleiman was in a different position with the WBC when it happened to somebody in Mexico. Okay? Get out of here. The WBC has no credibility anyway. The WBO has very little credibility anyway. The IBF has credibility because they will at least strip Canelo Alvarez. The IBF is acting like they are a sanctioning body. The WBC acts like they're somebody's fucking girlfriend. No. They're fucking jocking Canelo. They're a fucking brand is what they are. I bet you I could buy a WBC fucking polo. That type of shit. No, man. It's trash. The WBC sponsored Fury when Wilder was the champ. Look, man. Here's the thing. That's those people. That's what they're going to do. I do not understand for the life of me how anybody in the black boxing community even gives a shit. I do not understand it for the life of me. The PBC, fuck all that, because PBC is kind of like that in some ways too. But if you look at our community, the black community in the United States of America, where we got over 50 million people, and many of them are avid boxing fans. If we just market our fighters to ourselves, those fighters will make a lot of money, okay? They will make a lot of money. But the problem is they won't be making a lot of money for the people that have the infrastructure to sell them to the masses, right? Because they are the masses. And they're going to sell the product that they want to sell. They do not want to sell the product that comes out of our community in mass. They want to pick one special one and raise him up and then let the rest shuffle and struggle and not get ever truly become as good as they can truly be. Because they'll pick one or that one or that one. And then the ones that manage to rise to the top, they will just force all their energy to either try to ignore them or discredit them. And if you do not believe me, look at the systematic treatment of black fighters. And you will see that that is the case. In 130 pounds, for example, right now, Shakur Stevenson could be fighting somebody for a championship belt in that division. One of the people that he could be fighting is a guy named Jojo Diaz. Shakur Stevenson will get that shot because Shakur Stevenson was with Top Rank. Shakur Stevenson got a shot early at the WBO 126-pound title because he was with Top Rank. Other guys who are not with Top Rank are not getting those opportunities nearly as quickly. Chris Colbert is not getting those opportunities nearly as quickly. Jaron Ennis has fought more fights, not going to get those opportunities as quickly. You guys don't even know who the fuck Gary Antoine Russell is if you've seen him fight at all. Speedy Rashidi Ellis, I got to go look for stuff on the kid. Okay? And then when I make a video about how excellent Chris Colbert looks, all of a sudden I get attacked. Okay? There are a lot of young black fighters that are all very good, and quite honestly, there's not much difference between them. Okay? There's not that much difference between the up-and-coming talents. There's not. You can tell me that Shakur Stevenson can wash the floor with Chris Colbert. I want to see it. Prove it to me. But you can't prove it to me because the fight is never going to happen because Chris Colbert is not on the same track that Shakur Stevenson is on. That fast track, right? But watch Shakur Stevenson. When he gets fast-tracked, he's going to be on the fast track, but he ain't going to be on the superstar track. Because when it's time to set Shakur Stevenson up in fights that make him look special, like Oscar Valdez or some fight that can make him huge, watch he don't get that fight. Watch he winds up hitting that wall just like Terence Crawford hit that wall. If you don't believe me, wait and see. He's going to hit that wall just like Terence Crawford hit that wall. Just like Floyd Mayweather Jr. hit that wall. Okay? And he's lucky he don't get treated like Guillermo Regendow got treated. So if you think that this is about Deontay Wilder, you're nuts. Deontay Wilder is just one example amongst many of the mistreatment of black fighters by American media and the American television networks. That's the mistreatment going on. And that is the truth, because the money, by and large, comes from the networks. The networks have say-so over what they're going to pay. ESPN, whether I like Bob Arum or not, are choosing to pay for those fights and not pay for the fights for the American fighters. That's their choice. It could be their choice because ESPN is just don't know boxing and they're relying on Bob Arum, or it could be the choice of ESPN because they're like, no, those are the type of fighters we want to show on our network. Okay? It's obvious that Showtime is willing to put those fighters on their networks. That's why we're going to get to see this weekend another great, I believe this weekend, or coming up very soon, a fight with Gary Antoine Russell and Jaron Ennis on the same card, headlining Showtime cards. Now, you can't tell me that Showtime, who has been in boxing more seriously longer than ESPN doesn't know boxing. They're putting on fighters it appears to me that they're putting on fighters that are signed by the PBC because the PBC are going to sign good fighters. But the PBC only has so many dates for fighters. But when two of the three major networks, DAZN and ESPN that air in the United States will not participate in the showing and in the promotion of American fighters, but yet they want American citizens' money. What do you think they're going to? What do you think you're going to see? You're going to see the continued decline of boxing in America. The continued decline of boxing in America, which is not completely unintended. Okay? Because they are preaching UK. But then they bring the UK over here for pay-per-view, right? Because they charge us $75 a pop, right? Yeah, by the way, isn't DAZN putting on a pay-per-view? What? DAZN? I thought DAZN said that pay-per-view was a thing of the past. How crazy it is. And all of a sudden, at least I don't know if it's true, because, I hear a lot of things. Until I see them, I don't know if they're true, but I hear a lot of things. And one of the things that I hear is that Canelo is trying to partner with somebody for a pay-per-view in the same place that Gervonta Davis had a pay-per-view. Pretty interesting, ain't it? They were blasting. DAZN was blasting the PBC, blasting Fox, blasting Showtime for pay-per-views. But now they're in the pay-per-view business. They were always planning to get in the pay-per-view business after they thought that they could buy all those fighters up off of there. I mean, it's ridiculous. Hey, look, man, I'm telling you what I see. And when I listened to Teddy Atlas, I was like, wow, dog, really? It's like that? Like, it's really, 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 really like that, huh? Much love in the super chat to absolutely nobody, because I did not miss a thing. Oh, yeah. I've been on my P's and Q's. Ray Ramsey show raw and uncut said great content. Thank you, man. It is what I'm feeling, dude. That's like, this morning I'm going to talk about that. Okay? Exactly. Well, my man says it's systematic racism. Here's the thing, dog. If you know right, do right. If they knew better, do better, right? If they knew better, do better. Teddy Atlas, that's hypocritical. Ken Rideout said on that show that he thought that Anthony Joshua was poisoned, or he looked like he was poisoned. Something wasn't right with Anthony Joshua. Teddy Atlas also said multiple times with multiple people that boxing is crooked, boxing is corrupt. But Teddy, you sit on the fucking sideline with Deontay Wilder. In one of the most explicit cheating incidents in the history of fucking cheating incidents in boxing, it's all on tape everywhere. People have been talking about it all year. The conversation ain't gone nowhere. And you ain't got nothing but disdain for it. Even though you believe Tyson Fury might be on steroids. Wow, Teddy. Voice of the people, huh? What people are those? Paulie Malignaggi people? Paulie Malignaggi people? My man, Main Event Market with that sticker in the super chat. I can't see the stickers, but much love in that super chat. Snacks B in that super chat says super chat here. Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Wasn't asking, do appreciate. What I really want y'all to do, go follow me on Instagram. Please follow me on Twitter. And also, we got more stuff coming out on the Patreon. But channel members, we got that video coming out in the next couple days. It's in production, final stages of production. I was getting cussed out because I was changing too much shit up in the work. But it's coming out in the next day. Teddy is the voice of white supremacy. White supremacy does not have a voice. White supremacy is a reality. That's what it is. It's a reality. And it is something that is maintained. And I do believe that it is not good for the psyche of people that think that they're better than you to see you beating the shit out of them on a regular fucking basis. Okay? Yeah, I said that. Because there is something about that, dog. Like, and see, because people project, right? They project. How many times in my chat have I heard that from when I say that Tyson Fury cheated, right? The guy that knows full well that Tyson Fury cheated tells me, oh, you're just so mad because this guy, I don't even like to say the words, dude, because honestly, dude, I don't like to use racist terms. So I don't want to call myself a nigga and I don't want to call you white, okay? Because quite honestly, both of those terms are just as racist. They were both put in place at the same time, okay? You boy, follow me, I white man. You black nigga. That was the foundation of the word white, okay? That, my friend, even that, when I believe that people are serious about changing and putting all the relics of the past behind, when you put that word behind you, then I will believe you serious about moving forward into the future. Because that word was not in existence before the 1600s, and it was specifically put in place to segregate people. The Irish were given the rights of an Englishman. And then there was a combination of Irish, Scottish, and British who were never cool before and never saw themselves as common people, all banded together under the term white for the oppression of the American natives and the Africans that either immigrated voluntarily or involuntarily. And when that word changes, that's when I will believe you guys are serious and not a motherfucking minute before that. Because we all know that you are not that. I am no more colored black than you are colored white. But you use that word consistently. Okay? Should be in the minds of reasonable people who want to end racism, it should be as offensive as the word Negro is to anybody else, because those terms are conjoined. You cannot be black without white. You cannot be white without black. They exist together, and they started and were named for the purpose of oppressing people with color in their skin. And that is the truth. If you do not believe it, go read the book, How the Irish Became White, How the Scottish Became White, how the Italian became white in the mixing pool in 1921 of Ellis Island. Okay, but really started with immigration back in it was all immigration. It's just what wave of immigration. Anyway, what I wanted to say is, yes, no, that is not, it is a fact. It is not something that they are striving for. It's their money. It's their ring. Ask them. It's our country. If they're honest, they will tell you that that's how many of them feel, and many of them say that. Make it great again. Go back to when we owned it all. They do own it all, okay? Every lock, step, and every bit of it, okay? Financially speaking, militarily speaking, that is a reality. And we live within it, and we deal with it in the sport of boxing. And yes, they will bully. Yes, they will muscle. Yes, they will lie. Yes, they will manipulate, because that's what people who are in total control of you will do.
And then they will blame the victim. And then the victim will also blame the victim because the victim can't do anything about it. So since you can't do anything about these black fighters being ducked, you just blame each other and say, no, Gary Russell Jr. just doesn't want the fight. He doesn't want the fight with Shakur. He don't want the fight with Gary. He don't want the fight. He don't want the fight with Shakur. He don't want the fight with none of them either. He don't want the fight with none of them either. Why wouldn't he? Gary Russell Jr. would take a fight with Shakur Stevenson tomorrow morning at 130 pounds. I guarantee you. You know why? Because he already waxed the 130-pound champion Jojo Diaz. Already waxed him. Already waxed him. Why wouldn't he want to go up there and fight Shakur? Why can't that fight be made? Every time when I talk about it, if I talked about that fight being made, I would be attacked by black people. Like I was attacked when I said Chris Colbert could beat Shakur Stevenson. It was like I was talking about Tyson Fury in Ireland or something. Yeah, Gary don't want to fight. Gary don't want to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Gary don't want none of that, right? Guillermo Rigondeaux don't want Monster. He don't want that fight. Dude, ESPN and them won't even mention Guillermo Rigondeaux in Monster in a way at the same time. But at the same time, Gervonta Davis ain't saying nothing about, ain't thinking about Gary Russell Jr. Ain't thinking about it. And don't tell me he couldn't upset Gary. Gary can't upset Tank. Gary got a better chance of beating Tank than Leo Santa Cruz did. But we just don't believe that fight will sell. Because you would have to sell that fight in Baltimore. You know what I mean? That shit would be packed beyond belief. And if it was on, and it would be, and if you can't tell me Tank can be on pay-per-view against Leo Santa Cruz and he can't be on there against Gary Russell Jr. Man, all you got to do is promote Gary Russell Jr. because you used to be able to do that. You used to be able to promote a guy like Hagler and a guy like Sugar Ray Leonard. You used to be able to do that, right? But you can't do that no more, right? Can't do that no more. Anyway, yeah, I was on that this morning. You're not getting me, Terry Schmoot. You're not getting me, sir. You're not getting me. Let me get my coffee out of respect for Terry Schmoot's trolling. The finest troll of all the land. The finest troll in all the land is my man, Terry Schmoot Jr. Seriously, nobody can troll like Terry Schmoot. Terry Schmoot can troll and you like it. That's the only man I ever met that could troll you and you like that shit. True comedian, man. True comedian. But look, yeah, that's what the system is, dog. And unless you understand it, you know what they say. Y'all gonna get preached to today, okay? Y'all gonna get preached today, okay? Racism, what it is and how it works. Unless you understand that, everything else you think you know will only confuse you, okay? Start with number one. Biggest problem Gervonta Davis got is that he's black. Because if Gervonta Davis was from fucking Sheffield, England, doing the shit he's doing, dog, this dude would be, oh, Lord, they would stop the streets for this dude. And do not tell me they would not, dog. Because Naseem Hamed ain't nobody's fucking getting Gervonta Davis, dog. Not even kind of, man. And Naseem Hamed, they was carrying that dude around on fucking, they had that dude on carpets. They like imitating fucking flying carpets with Naseem Hamed. And Naseem Hamed sucked. Okay? Naseem Hamed was getting his ass whooped. Naseem Hamed was getting his ass whooped by Kevin Kelly. Okay? And respect to Kevin Kelly. Kevin Kelly's a good fighter, dog. Kevin Kelly's a good fighter, man. That's my dude, Kevin Kelly. Wish I could see him some more. It's more than a cup in that coffee. Oh, nah, dog. There's water here. And there's coffee here. Water in a coffee cup and coffee in a water cup. Nah, this is a coffee cup. These are actually both coffee cups. Nah, I need my liquid because you know I'm not sneezing today. Let me tell you something, Brandon Love. Tell them to fight. Shakur can't say he's better than anybody he ain't fought. Okay? If he's a professional and within reason. Okay? Within reason. I'm not saying just any old fucking body. Okay? But dog, Gary Russell Jr., he skipped on past Gary Russell Jr., dog. Skipped right on past him. Now, and here's the sad thing. Do you think that there's anything wrong with him not fighting Gary Russell Jr.? Let me tell you how brainwashed you Negroes are. This is the Negro you brainwashed. Negro, you are brainwashed time. Because there is brainwashing. All right? You can brainwash somebody when you repeat enough stupidity and the guy doesn't really have any opportunity to get or any viable options. With no viable options and repetition, you know what I mean? With a little carrot and a stick, you can brainwash damn near anybody, okay? You can brainwash anybody. And I'm going to prove you dudes are brainwashed, okay, by boxing media, even though you don't like them. Is there anything wrong with the fact that Shakur Stevenson ducked? Hold on, I'm using the word duck, but let me say this because you don't even believe he ducked. Like, I got to do some counter therapy with you and say ducked, so you get shocked. But even when you say that, you get, oh, what do you mean he ducked? Dog, he was a champion, a WBO champion, when Gary Russell Jr. was a WBC champion at 126 pounds. Let me ask you something. Is there something wrong with Shakur Stevenson for not having fought Gary Russell Jr.? Give me a 1 if you think it was okay for him not to fight Gary Russell Jr. Give me a 1 and be honest, because there should be a lot of 1s. Okay? There should be a lot of 1s because that's how y'all behave. Nobody had an issue with it. And I tested the water because I said it. I was like, hold on, man. Why ain't Shakur fighting Gary? And the universal response was, it's too early in his career. He can't fight him. It's not, he's going to wind up being at 141. All of that, right? I can make the argument because I have made the argument, right? I'm not lying. That's what it was said. My man in that super chat said, all angles matters. Salute to Fannon and Don in the chat. I really like Chris Colbert. I'm high on him. What's the likelihood he gets big fights? Your thoughts? Great chance if you guys support the fucking cause. God dog, support the cause. This is what I mean, all angles matter. Yes. Because if we insist on it, then Shakur has to say something about it. Gary has to say something about it. They have to react to it in some way, shape, or form. Silence is the enemy of getting fights you want to see, okay? Because their machine can't operate like our machine can. Because we're the fans. We can talk about boxing any day, all day, whether we want, any time of day, consistently. And they listen to us. They listen to us for their topics. They listen to us to know what we're thinking. We are the source of it all, the fans. And in the United States, black fans are a huge portion of the boxing fan base. We are a demographic unto ourselves, and our fighters are excellent fighters. All we have to do is demand that our fighters fight each other, number one, because we can fucking control that. Jeez, we can't be like just pointing fingers at Canelo for ducking Jamal when you got all kind of people ducking Gary. All kind of people ducking him, skipping past him, dismissing him. You got Terence Crawford at 147 acting like ain't nobody ever moved from 126 to fight somebody in 147 before. And they have. It's Henry Armstrong. Boop. Moved right up. 126 to 135 to 147, all in the same year. But when Gary says he wants to do it, the black community treated Gary like shit. True. Like shit. I was in the middle of that shit like, damn. Why the fuck is everybody attacking Gary Russell Jr. like he's doing something wrong, asking for a fight with Terence Crawford? And tell me that shit didn't happen. Tell me they weren't blasting on Gary Russell Jr. all over the place just for asking for a fight with Terence Crawford. And because I had to do a video like, damn, dude, do any of y'all want to see Gary fight anybody? Like, there's two fighters in boxing that literally are not allowed to have fights right now. They are unofficially blackballed by the entire fucking boxing media. Deontay Wilder, number 1. Gary Russell, number 2. Teddy Atlas and whatever his name is, Rideout, sat there and was like, he's the odd man out. That's the only thing that they said. They're like, they're playing a game of musical chairs and Deontay Wilder's standing up. Why? Tyson Fury, there's only 2 chairs in the whole fucking heavyweight division? And if there's more than 2 chairs in the whole fucking heavyweight division, then why in the world isn't Deontay Wilder in one? I know I just saw Daniel Dubois get his ass knocked out with a jab, so I would think Daniel Dubois was off. I would think Dillian White, who got laid out and don't nobody give a fuck about, is off. But they claim like Deontay Wilder. You know why they said Deontay Wilder's out? Because Deontay Wilder's not a draw. That bullshit. They're not a draw. How is he not a draw, Teddy? He was getting 1 million people watching him on Showtime years ago. He had a successful his pay-per-view against Luis Ortiz was bigger than the one against Gervonta Davis's. His fight against Luis Ortiz was as big as Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia. And it had a bigger gate. So why the fuck is he the odd man out? He's the man with 3 pay-per-views. Anthony Joshua, man, stop. Y'all just don't want the man involved because you can't make money off the man. Because he won't do what you tell him to do. You know why I don't have a bunch of sponsorships on this channel? Not that I'm looking for them, because I'm not going to do and say what it is that a sponsor wants me to do and say. So when you see people with sponsorships in the middle of their videos, maybe you should look at their fucking sponsors and be like, maybe that's why that dude's acting like he lost his mind. Because somebody's paying him to lose his damn mind. Man, much love in that Cash App, man. Ray Manson said, oh my God, man. Massey, I'll just say Massey. For dropping that heat for non-respect. Thank you, sir, and that Cash App. God dang it. And much love to All Angles Matter in that super chat. And Main Event Mark in that super chat. Thank you guys, man. And Alma said, great content, on fire and on point. Thank you for your time and work. Thank you, man. And my man, again, back in that chat and the Cash App said, respect, keep your thought process. Yeah, man, look, that's my thought process. It's not that I'm in love with Deontay Wilder, dude. I literally have never met him, okay? Never met him, all right? I think I've mentioned to a couple people that I might want to interview him, never heard back, okay? So it's not some situation where I'm super cool with Deontay Wilder. No, it's not. And matter of fact, when all of this stuff started, I was more pro Anthony Joshua than I was Deontay Wilder because I kind of like Anthony Joshua. It's hard not to like the guy. He's nice. You know what I mean? He's nice. He looks like my cousin, a gigantic version of Anthony Joshua's not somebody really, other than the fact that he's not fighting. Deontay Wilder, and he was all that bullshit about him trying to fight when his team really wasn't trying to make the fight. Besides all that bullshit, there ain't nothing really not to like about Anthony Joshua. He's kind of a nice guy, man. You know what I mean? It's not like he's Dillian White, walking around or he's Teofimo Lopez or Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga. What is wrong with you, man? Dude, Edgar Berlanga is going to get knocked out. Puerto Rico, I'm telling you right now, get your boy. Get your boy Edgar Berlanga, dog, because Edgar Berlanga is going to get his head spun because his ego is way through the fucking roof. This dude just talked about 2 pay increases in a row at the same time. He said, right now, I'm main event. So he wants to be on the main event next. And then after the main event, he's going to make, I forget what he said, millions and millions of dollars a fight, right? Dog, stop before you become Andy Ruiz, all right? Because I did see Erickson Lubin beat you up something bad. Okay? So, oh no. Oh no. Oh, but then again, maybe, yeah, I would just say slow down on that, Edgar, with all that Tiafimo talk. All right, because Tiafimo's ego was just through the fucking roof, dude. He said Erickson Lubin dogged him in sparring. Oh my God, it was crazy. It was crazy, dude. Like, he didn't know. Was that a long time ago? Like, I don't want to say too much about that sparring because Benavidez would demolish Berlanga. Yeah, like, slow down, Berlanga. Pause. Dog, you ain't been in a fight yet if you can't get out the first round. Okay? You ain't been in a fight yet if you ain't got out the first round. That's my viewpoint on it. Because somebody's going to get up out that first round. You know what I'm saying? Somebody's going to get up out that first round. Believe it. Man, much love in that super chat to my man, Mr. Rollo. Said, keep up the good work. Thank you so much, man. Thank you guys for supporting. And he said, man, looks like my cousin. I'm a fan for life. He does, man. He does. He looks like me, look like my cousin. So I ain't got no problem with Anthony Joshua. You know what I mean? Not like that. Now, see, other than this, see, I'm Black American. I am a black man. I have no problem with, I like that, actually. Like, I like to be that. So when I see Anthony Joshua, I know that Anthony Joshua is kind of like Afro-Caribbean. You know what I mean? Like, he's not Caribbean, but that's kind of how I think of him because he's from Great Britain, which has 1 million Jamaicans, right, in Great Britain. Like, many of the Jamaicans, the British people that you see are going to be from Jamaica. Just kind of like they go from, what's the path? It's like, for females, I know it's nursing. It's like you can get educated from Jamaica, get educated in the UK, but then go to work in Canada, right? So it's like a triangle. It's a little bit of a triangle trade between Jamaica, Great Britain, and Canada for professionals. So at least that's how I've seen it. So AJ hanging out with a lot of them and him being Nigerian. Oh my God, I cannot believe Ken Rideout said this. Ken Rideout said, oh yeah, and by the way, AJ he's got 2 countries behind him because he's from the United States, he's from the UK, and he's Nigerian. Really? Really? Like you give a fuck about Nigerian fans. Are you serious? You don't care about fans, black people in Boston. You think you giving a fat friggy rat about some folk in App? Man, please. Man. Yeah, I know he's Nigerian, but they don't care. Okay? I know he's from Nigeria. They don't care. What's his name? Andre Berto is from Haiti. You think they care? Okay, you think they care? Stop. He's from Nigeria. So what if he's from Nigeria? From the people that are talking, do you think that they're trying to have major fights in Nigeria or something? You think that they're trying to call up Boko Haram? Hey, excuse me, Boko Haram. Can we get this boxing match in Logo? And I don't even know the geography or how many regions there are in Nigeria anymore. Back in like what was it, like 13 regions in the 80s. Then there was 21 regions. The country ain't got no bigger, but it got cut up into 1 million more pieces. Man, stop. They don't give a fat rat about AJ being from Nigeria. They just saying that. And if you Nigerians think they care halfway shit about you, you're nuts. But okay. But okay. Anyway, y'all keep believing that nonsense. And they'll keep selling it to you. AJ, that guy, AJ seems like a nice guy. You know what I mean? He seems like a nice guy that will beat you up. And quite honestly, Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder, I could really see them hanging out. They seem like they are closer to the same type of people than like scumbag ass. And Tyson, quite honestly, Tyson Fury don't seem like that bad a guy. That's why, but he's just a horrible cheat And his organization is just like, oh, God, man. The AJ and Wilder talk stopped when AJ started. Oh, yeah, pretty much. AJ mentioned he wanted to fight in Africa. He can say all he wants. He ain't fighting in Africa. Give me a break. Man, please. They are fighting in European countries. That's where he's going to fight. Because it's the world. It's the world. Hey, can anybody tell me, students in the building, can anybody tell me how many worlds there were in 1960? How many worlds there were in 1960? That's a political question. Quest X would be good with that. Oh, he said, General Squirrel said, yeah, Fannon, Fury will steal your TV set if he wasn't so rich. Nope. There were 3 worlds. 3 worlds. 3 worlds. Of course, Wild is Nigerian. Dude, look. First of all, even that Nigerian thing is funny because that's a European country. And really, everybody moved from East Africa to West Africa to get away from the Arabs slave trade and the European slave trade. So really, a lot of the people where we say we are Western Africa, dog, people fled. People fled the Nile Valley. When people started snatching slaves, they left. You know what I'm saying? And they went other places. Not everybody in Africa, because they're in that area, originated in that area. A lot of that shit cleared out because wherever Europeans went, they brought big guns and wanted to take over everything. So they left. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody in Africa is from that area of Africa. So it's even when they say your genealogy is from there, they're bullshit. It's bullshit. Dude, everybody on the planet is a degree of cousin from one another. That's a fact. That's how genetics work. Okay? It really is just one big human family with a bunch of crooked motherfuckers that, because they ain't got color in their skin, decided they were going to set a system where they could control everything based on the one asset that they had that nobody else had, which was a deficiency in melanin production. And other than that, that is just a big ass family of people who are now separated from one another in a bunch of different, even in languages with minor variations, dude. Minor variations. Every human being is capable of learning the language of every other human being. Okay? That's because we come from a common origin. And if you come from a common origin, you are family by definition. And it is only the degree of cousin in which you cannot reproduce. Nothing closer than 3rd degree can you reproduce. Because if you reproduce, because you're so close, then you can create abnormalities. But beyond 6th, 7th, 8th cousins, everybody is related in one human family. That's when, if you ever listen to a geneticist talk about 23andMe and all this, I'm from Greece, how do you know the people from Greece came from somewhere? They didn't originate there. They came from somewhere. We're just one people. But 3rd world, that's what I was trying to get to. 3rd world. That's what they mean. The West, the world, white. www.worldwidenet Western world, first world, white. They like W's, dog. I think it's because of the inverted pyramids and kind of like that script, but I'm not sure what it is and why that is, but those are all words that you can use interchangeably for one another. When you are referring to the Western world, you are talking about the white world. When you are talking about white people, you are talking about Western people, European people. When they're talking about the world and they say global, that's why in the back of Mike, the calculation that happens in the back of their head, that's why Canelo Alvarez, a Mexican, fighting in the United States is not global, right? Even though they're two separate countries, just like the United States and the UK are two separate countries, and if they're fighting one another, it's global, huh? They even act like Tyson Fury was a global star when he didn't do anything other than fight in the UK and have his fights televised in the US. Well, if you're fighting in the US and getting your fight streamed to the US, to the UK, aren't you global? No, you're not global. Why? Because the W doesn't apply. Because the W doesn't apply. Listen how they use the words and tell me I'm lying. Prove to me I'm lying. There was a first world, second world, and third world. First world countries are large, rich European countries and the United States and their allies, right? Japan, UK, Spain for some reason, Ireland, right? I mean, Irish, all of that. That's first world. Third world is Africa. All of Africa is the third. You last in line, homie. They talk about it with development, but no, they mean it in political and social hierarchy. You are a third world person. You're not first world. Therefore, you're not global because truly you're not in the world. You are the possession of somebody that owns the world. That's why there's a difference between the planet and your world. Your world is your consciousness. Your planet is the physical being that we all live on, right? And you may say, Fannon, why do you call it a being? Because it exists. It was born, it lives, it will die. And you cannot tell me that the earth is not living if things grow on it, including you. But anyway, that's just so crazy. That's just so crazy, Fannon. Sorry, man. Like I said, I was going to have a think tank today. I was going to do don't steal my think tank. Terry Schmoo, can you explain Neanderthals for us, King? I cannot explain Neanderthals, but other than to say that this is my basic understanding, that there was, with the creation of what is the common ancestor, there was a branch of humanoids. One were Cro-Magnon at different times. One was Neanderthal. One was Homo sapien sapien. None of that shit means anything because that's their explanation in trying to explain how human beings are all different, right? Which is a basic premise of racism. So they're trying to establish a race of humanoids. And within the race of humanoids, there's the race of human. And then within the race of human, there's race of humans. So but the thing that people keep bringing up about Neanderthal is that the different branches of humanoid could interchange with one another, could reproduce with one another. So we have in us traits that are associated with Neanderthals because, like I said, it's one big family. Okay, from the original humanoid to you, everybody, it had to reproduce itself. It's something out of nothing, right? Just like the Big Bang, the theory of the Big Bang, that's something from nothing, right? Human life, something from something preconceived or something from nothing. I don't know, but that's what they talk about with Neanderthal, and they try to use it as an insult. And I think it's silly, personally, right? Because, dude, I'm European, so I'm Neanderthal. Like, I'm heavily European. So then I, therefore, am Neanderthal, and I have these traits? I do. I'm very vicious. I am mean. So maybe it's true. I don't know. That's what they're talking about, dog, when they bring that up. And my thing is that I don't care. Because I'm a black man, dog. Because I'm a black man. And that's all. That's my reality, dog. I don't see my face. Right? I don't see my face. I don't see my body unless I'm staring at this screen or looking in the mirror. The only way that I know what I am is through my interactions with other people, right? And the other people that I know that I've met from my very beginning have all defined me as being Negro. And therefore, I was like, I'm black. At a certain point in time, I looked around and was like, I look a little different than he does. And why does my aunt have blue eyes and her hair's straight but she's black? And how does that, all that confusing shit was going on, right? But Neely Fuller Jr. set me free of all that stupidity because I'm just not white. And that's the only distinction that matters when you're talking about fixing a system of injustice that is based on the presence or the lack thereof of color in your skin. Because of the lighter complected family members created an aristocracy amongst themselves and made everyone with color subordinate to them. That is the hierarchy that was set up that is now becoming, according to many people, more refined and changes. But you will see that you will still see and experience that in your day-to-day life, right? And you can't tell me you haven't experienced that. Everywhere you go on the planet, human beings are stratified from high to low based on how much melanin they have in their skin. The northern Indians the southern Indians are subordinate to the northern Indians, right? In India, right? It's just what it is. In the black community, people that don't have a lot of color were given more special privileges because they were related to the people that were handing out the privileges, right? And we, in our psyche, still associate light skin with beauty, light skin with fairness and attractiveness, because that's what we told we were. So when somebody would look at me and say, oh, you're handsome, and they say you have such European features, the reason that is only because European features are celebrated, right? Where if somebody had purely African features that, by the way, are just associated with Africans because of the whole of Africa being associated with ignorance and darkness and blackness and evil and the opposites of everything that we are, the superior angelic people, Anglo-Saxons, the angels. Since they're so much different than the angels, they must be that. And therefore, everything with them is associated with ugly. What we are attracted to is very influenced by what we're told we should be attracted to, because we are a creation of our environment. Just like in a job, I've talked to you guys before about how when Andre Ward takes over a job, goes to a job in the network, right? He was a fighter before, but now he's in the network. That is going to dictate how he sees the world, right? Because those are the people that he interacts with. Same thing with the social, political, economic construct called Negro. You are going to be affected by it because that is what you're going to be defined as. And since you know that's what you're going to be defined as, you have to make a choice. And you got to make a choice at a very early age, right? Or change it over time about whether or not you're going to love this jacket that you cannot get out of, or you're going to fight to prove and show to the world that this jacket really isn't you. So I think that's where you see the coons. They are trying so hard to convince everybody that this jacket is really not them, that they will crisp up their language. They will do everything that the colonizer, in the words of Frantz Fanon, the colonizer believes is good. So they will try to become everything that is in order to try to get that jacket off of them. However, every time you come in the room with them, you are a stark reminder of what they are, because they have the same preconceived notions about your blackness as the white people had about your blackness, because they're the ones that trained them what to think about themselves. And they apply that to you. And then you have conflict with them. Accept your jacket. I am black, and I am more than happy with it, because then because I know that your jacket is not real. I just know that's how you see me, and I will react to you and talk to you in the manner where number one, you can respect me, because you're not going to make no actions in my life, if I can avoid it, that's based upon your preconceived notions of me, which are spawned from social political bullshit centuries old. The Caribbean is called the third world too. Yeah, absolutely. Last to be colonized by Europe or America, the third world. There you go. However they want to justify it is bullshit. It's people with color in their skin. The more color you get in your skin in that nation, the further down that pole you go. But some people are allowed to rise up if they can do enough work, like India. India can produce enough minds right now that's not boxing. But I would like to see you guys imitate that, though. I would like you to imitate that whole conversation. Would love it. And tell me, anyway. Darwin-centered ideology, exactly. Which is just stupid. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Jones in that super chat, man. Much love in that super chat. And Hustle God Methodology, much love in that super chat. So, but relating that back to boxing, because all that was about boxing. Y'all think I was talking about boxing, dog? No, Hustle God. So we love the non-boxing talk. No, that was boxing. That's boxing, dog. That's 100% boxing, what I just talked about. Every bit of that is essential to boxing. It is, because it explains it. It explains it, and it allows you to predict what will happen in the future. See, that's why I believe that this is a solid way to view it, because it allows me to predict what's going to happen in the future accurately within certain range, okay? Like, for example, I knew the day that Shakur Stevenson started fighting that he would not fight Gary Russell Jr. I know that, okay? I know it. You know it, we know it, and we know why, okay? And do you think that it's not even, dude, the whole world of boxing is split right in the middle between the PBC and a whole bunch of people in the PBC trying to act like they ain't associated with black fighters. Anyway, I like the PBC, but the PBC is just an organization that markets to a very large fan base in boxing and does a very good job of providing quality shows. But they still exist within the world, okay? And we exist within the world. And if we're going to look at boxing, you should be able to take the same principles you're looking at in boxing and apply them to the rest of your life. If you really do have a full world view. Or you could call it the whole social experience. Yep. And no, it's not just social. It's social psycho too. Because it's in your own head too. Like, you are, as a black person, think how kind of fucked up this is. And I can tell you I'm an expert on this. I'm an expert because I've been black my entire life. Okay? And it is a really funny experience to be booked with people that you are completely unconnected to and have absolutely nothing in common with other than your skin color, but know that you have to find a way to relate to one another because you are now going to have the same set of common experiences. Do you know what I mean? It's tough because we have a lot of conversations about who's black. Like, much love and respect to Black Fight Fan TV. I guarantee you if he and I had a debate about who was black and who wasn't black, he and I would disagree on occasion, right? Because he would have he may have, and I'm just using him as an example, not anything that he said. He may have a definition for black that I don't, that is not mine, right? So I know, for example, that I have Cuban family members that are black, that are Hispanic, that do not speak any English, right? Any English, not a lick. Are they different than me? Even though I'm significantly more European than they are, because they speak a different European language than I do? See, we both speak European languages. If you put the commonality together, Puerto Ricans speak an English language. Speak a European language. Dominicans speak a European language. Americans, blacks speak a European language. The only people that ain't out there speaking European languages, and I do believe they are as well, are Africans. And even they have some combination of stuff, don't they? I'm not sure what but still, you get my point. In order to get out of there, though, they got to learn how to speak a European language. Yep, you're right. It's psychosocial. Yeah, it is. It's tough stuff. It's a tough situation that we got to overcome every day. And and go out to work and take care of your kids. That's a tough psychological baggage to have over you while you're still trying to do your work. But it is a privilege not to have to deal with your bullshit. But you know what you can bucket all that into? Their bullshit that they just trying to put on you. Don't put that bullshit on you, man. Don't try to get the bullshit off you. And at the same time, no, you can't. So you might as well love it, baby. You might as well love it. You know what I'm saying? I might not be super chocolate, but since they put me in there with the chocolate, I'm going to live it up with the chocolate. You know what I mean? It's just got to be what it is, man. We all on the same team. But cats don't want to be on the same team. They want to be solo. But solo doesn't work. They try to convince you that individuals, that's why the LDBC is murking cats. Just off the fact that it's unified in the hashtag. Because it's counterproductive to the system for black people to work in unison with one another, independently and on code. It's like the Hydra. You can't cut the head off. You know what I'm saying? But really, you can't. Cuban is black. Yeah, it depends on your Cuban. There are definitely Cubans that are not black. For sure. Fidel Castro, not black. Very Jewish. Very Jewish. Said man said the Urbanics. God bless you, brother Fannon. Much needed today. Look, man, we all on the same team because y'all think that I'm trying to out here harass black fighters. Just because I'm going to tell y'all, stop ducking these. Man, fight each other. Fight each other, man. Fight each other. You guys can fight each other. I like that the welterweights ain't got no damn chance. They ain't got no choice. Welterweights are doing it, and that's the hottest division in boxing. And Errol Spence is getting it, beating black fighters. Ain't he? You can't tell me fighting black fighters that can't make you a star because Errol Spence Jr. is beating the piss out of black fighters and becoming a star. Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is. Kell Brook, Sean Porter, both black dudes. Danny Garcia, we can debate that on another conversation. Because y'all know y'all Puerto Rican. Y'all, man. See, I respect my Puerto Rican brothers. Because Puerto Rico, there's a lot of Puerto Ricans in Chicago. But I'm going to tell y'all, dog, y'all all nervous when that baby come out. Oh, pelo malo. Oh, pelo malo. Come on, man. True experience, dog. Man, I was living in the most. That's why I love Puerto Ricans forever. That's why I fucks with Puerto Ricans, dog. Seriously. Let me tell you my Puerto Rican story. I was in the most all-white area like ever. Just imagine, like, I grew up in an area. I told people before, but sometimes people may be new to the chat. I grew up in the far west suburbs of Chicago, not too far from where what's his name? Martin Luther King got bottles thrown at him, and he tried to like march. He tried to mark in. Where did he try to march? Was it Rockford? He tried to march in, and they tried to kill that dude in Rockford. And he's like, nah, they ain't using hoses around this part. So we got to get up out of here. Yeah, right, dog. You got to get up out of there. You can't march through those neighborhoods. They will definitely get you up out of there. Okay. And like I said, don't ask me how to get rid of a whole man because they know. Pig grinders, dog. You be gone, dog. You be gone and sprinkled underneath. You be gone and fed to some dogs and sprinkled underneath some motherfucking sprinkled up underneath next season's corn crop. Anyway, as long as not from 63rd, not from 63rd. Nah, for real though. This is what happened to me. I was in my whole grade school. It was nothing but fights. So that's why you guys asked me if I've ever been in a fight. I just laugh at y'all like, do I seem like somebody that would not fight you? Like seriously, anything about my personality that you've seen over these last several years, or if you paid attention to my energy, does any of that say guy that would never get in an argument, never get in a fight? It would be impossible with my personality not to get in a fight. Anyway, so yeah, I've been in a lot of fights. But when I got to grade school, dude, I went to camp and this guy all of a sudden was really fucking friendly. And his name, I won't say what his name is, but just his name was Steven. But Steven's last name was Medina. And I was like, that's an interesting name. But he looked like just all the other, he looked like everybody else. But he was like, come on, man, we're going to this side of the park. Man, come on, we're going to this side of the park. We doing this. And he had a bunch of girls, there are girls on the other side, and all these girls liked him. So he's like, come on, man, we're going to try to holler at these girls over here, da-da-da. So, man, I had the most fun camp ever, man. And in 7th and 8th grade, shit was really cool. He pulled me to the side, dog, and he was like, man, fuck them. He was like, man, fuck them, dude. I'm Puerto Rican, man. Half my family look just like you. They just don't know. That's what the dude said to me. He's like, yeah, man, he was like, man, fuck them dudes. They just don't know. They just don't know I'm Puerto Rican. Da-da-da-da-da-da, man, we gonna have fucking fun. And I was like, dude, it's like a Puerto Rican dude set me free and allowed me to have fun at school. My grades sucked, but I had fun for days, man. And that's why I was always like, nah, I'm not so hard on cats that are really light-skinned or really don't look like they are black. Because in a lot of times, dog, you may not know, some of them dudes can be in positions and can really help you out from time to time. And I'm telling you, man, them dudes don't think that all them people that look like that don't rock with black people and really, really rock with black people. They do. Some of them do. Oh, yeah, my grades were terrible, dog, because I think I started getting girls. Nigga, what about school? Care nothing about no school when you got something soft laying with you. That's the problem. That's the problem. They let the light skin fool them all the time. Yeah, absolutely. They let the light skin fool them all the time. Don't let it fool you, dog. You know what I mean? Salute for Nana Don Smash. Salute to the chat. Yeah, man. And see, look, that's why I'm saying we good, because we got about 700 people in the building all during this talk, which is not all boxing, dude. Because I'm glad that we can expand the conversations. Said Los Division said most Africans speak French, English, and Dutch. Yeah, you ain't gonna have no choice. You're gonna learn that, or you're not gonna eat. You're gonna learn this language and you're not gonna eat. And when you learn to speak somebody's language, that's gonna affect your mind, because the only words you know and that you speak in your head are the words that they taught you. So there could be whole ideas and concepts that you are separated from because you don't speak a certain language. You know? But you can't stop black people either. That's the beautiful thing, because we are just people. All that you can exterminate black people and all that stuff, I don't buy it, man. Do not buy it. I believe if you killed every dark-skinned person in the world, 30 white people would pop up with chocolate babies the next day. Like, boop! What the fuck happened? It's the first time ever. It's 2 completely pale people popped up with a chocolate baby. How'd this happen? God don't like ugly. God has a disaster recovery plan and saw this shit coming. And they were like, boop. Nigga, every bit of melanin gotta come out, dog. It's coming out of somewhere. That's what would pay him off, dog. It'd be like, we got rid of all the darkies, and all of a sudden they go to the mirror and the shit just starts coming. What the fuck? There's a certain amount of melanin that must be in all of nature in order for it to operate. Okay? Color is essential. Flowers need color. Animals need color. Human beings need color. That's unless you want to, even way down in the bottom of the sea. Color has purpose. Otherwise, God wouldn't have made it. So you ain't getting rid of it, dog. You ain't getting rid of it like you ain't getting rid of water. It just shit ain't. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think this shit's a scare tactic, and I want to be happy in my life and believe that God loves me and I can actualize all of my visions for life. And then I'll go listen to Mark Rideout and get depressed and say, Lord have mercy, the high school bullies are now running boxing. Like, the high school bullies are running boxing. This steroid induced, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, you know what I'm saying? I don't know who got timed out, dog. I didn't time anybody out, man. I've just been running my mouth for like an hour and a half, loving every second of it, dog. What's going on? Lawrence Johnson said, rise and grind, Fannon Don. Yes, every day. Every day. Man, my property professor, Schumann, rest in peace, Professor Schumann, One of the brightest, one of the most intelligent people I've ever met in my life. The dude was so smart, it was ridiculous. And he said, every day that there is sun on my face, I am doing some work. He said, if it's a day, I'm working. That's what he said. He's like, you're working today? Is the sun coming up? I'm being productive. That's what he said, man. Or that's what the gist of what he said. Every contingent interest in order to vest must be certain to vest within the time of life or lives in being, in the time of the creation of the interest. I know y'all ain't paying attention to me now, but any contingent interest in order to vest any contingent interest in order to be valid must be certain to vest within the time of life's or lives within 21 years of a life or lives in being at the time of the creation of the interest. That was Jerome Schumer. Great mind, great intellect, taught me a lot, man. And if you don't know what that means, that is the rule of adverse possession. And that means, dude, if you can't sit on some shit forever, homie, okay, somebody got to own it. And if you don't believe that is the essence of white supremacy, read your legal books. Adverse possession, dog. BL said having property law flashbacks, you know? I'm so sick that there are two things that I learned in school, I swear to God, I didn't think I could ever forget. Political Realism by Hans Morgenthau's 10 Rules of Political Realism. The statement that in order to confuse the morality of the individual with that of the nation state is to court national disaster. That right there tells you they will do anything that they need to do to your ass. And then the second one was the property interest. It was like, and that, because a contingent interest is if you're going to leave property to somebody that you have to, and it's going to be contingent upon something, right? So like, I'm going to give you something, my son, this house, if my son gets married by the age of 35, right? That's a contingent interest. You have a contingent interest in that property, not an actual interest, right? It's contingent upon something happening, right? So contingent interest. And then what is it? God, it's been so long. So you have a contingent interest, but in order for that interest to be valid, it has to happen within 21 years of the time that anybody on earth could be alive, I think, at that time. So it's like, if everybody dies, if the guy dies, it has to vest within 21 years. That's what it is. You got 21 years. Like, you can't leave some shit out there forever. That's a rule against perpetuity, which can mean you could own property and keep property in the hands of that would not be owned by the community forever. It also means that you can take adverse possession of people's shit. You know what I'm saying? Which means, like, you can roll up in somebody's motherfucker. No, that's rule against contingent interest. Adverse possession is what? Where you can go in and take some shit from somebody and just sit there, and long enough, if you sit there long enough, that you actually get property of that. You get ownership of that. Like the Native Americans. And they did, yeah, man, it's been a long time, dog. That was really fun, dog. Back in the day, man. Learning this from Dr. Cloud Anderson and Boyce Watkins isn't the doctrine of unequal exchange. I mean, it is an unequal exchange, but I don't know about the doctrine of unequal exchange. That seems to be something that's more in the finance area than the legal area. But capitalism is based on unequal exchange because you have to create value. In order to create value, a lot of time it's unequal value. So if I take something and it takes me $10 to build it, but I sell it to you for $200, where's the difference of the value, right? That's unequal value. It only cost me $10 to make it, but I'm selling it to you for $40. So you get that. Oh, and squatting? Yeah, squatting is adverse possession. Squatting is definitely adverse possession. Where you can just sit your ass there and be like, get the fuck out of here, I own it. But see, a lot of people don't understand the importance of property law or the importance of understanding property, because your black ass was property of the United States of America. But seriously, the United States of America was formed off real estate, right? Anyway, Said right value is based on what people think it's worth, not the value that went into it. No, it's not. That is what you call getting over on a motherfucker is what that's called. Okay? The right value is based on what people think it's worth, not the value that no, that's what you'll get. That's what you'll get. But the value is no, that's true. The value of something is worth, the value that you have for it is what you think it's worth, because that's the definition of value, what you think it's worth. However, the cost associated with making it and producing it versus the cost of buying it, that right there is called profit. That's profit. And you may value something like, I value this ring, like this, say this ring would sell for say it sells for $3,000. Say it's a $3,000 ring. But you say, Fannon, I'll give you $5,000 for that ring. And I'll say no, because it's worth more to me than the monetary value. But, you know, it's Beasley said, Fannon, you a real dude. Thanks for the love of the live streams, man. Thank you, man. Thank you for the support. And my co-host Drew Titan said, Joseph woke up to hear that Eddie Atlas said, I said AJ was poisoned, but in other news, yeah, he did. Well, that was Mark Rideout that said he thought that the guy was poisoned. Larry Ibrahim, man, much love. He said, weren't we the real estate that capitalism was based upon? No, you are not real. You are real property. You're not real estate. But you are real property. Or no, are you real property? Real property is something that has to be affixed to the land. That's real property. No, you're chattel. You are more like a horse, a dog, something like that. You can't take adverse possession of somebody's fucking dog. That's just fucking. No, that's not how it is. We were chattel. We were not real estate. Real estate is the land, and something that you affix to the land, right? Because you can't have a house without the land. The whole purpose of having the land is to put things on the land. So the real estate is something that is connected to the land. Yeah, if slave owners received money for loss of their profit. Like, yeah, if you killed them, you probably could take a tax deduction. Now, murdering your ass was a tax deduction. Wouldn't it be? Buying you should be a tax deduction, because you'll be like, yeah, I made this much money, but I had to buy five of you. I had to buy five Negroes, and it cost me X amount of money. But they didn't have income tax back then. So I don't know how their taxes were, because I don't think federal income tax came until a long time. Like, it's a long time. Like with the establishment of the IRS, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, I don't know. That's some shit that's above my pay grade. I don't know that good history like that. But look, let me get up out of here. Oh, we didn't land on Plymouth Rock. Plymouth Rock landed on us. Dog snatched you with some chains, snatched you up, put you in a boat. It's what it is. Those were very terrible people that did that. And there are a lot of people that are fighting very hard to celebrate those very terrible people. So I don't understand how people expect much out of the people that celebrate those very terrible people. That's not logical to me. Anyway, that's boxing. I'll be with y'all tomorrow. Check y'all out. Make sure you go check out my man, 78 Sports TV, coming up next. And with that, I'm out. Peace.